Hey, Jim.
Hi, Dale. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you today?
Still,
Are you numb?
still, still having some issues from Sunday, but we can talk about that later in the
We are
show.
going to talk about that later. Something happened Sunday that shouldn't have happened, but happened. And yeah, we'll get into that later. This is episode 11, dude. Episode 11. Yep. So 11 of them, two guys, one coup. Thank you all for your support and continued support, I should say, and contribution. I got to apologize for episode 10, not the content of it, but the actual recording of it was terrible. And so we're working on those details in our elaborate studios that we have.
Hoping something fixes itself.
And with the IT people I'm working with, who say their name is Jeff. It's not Jeff. It's not Jeff. At any rate,
Fondy.
Hey,
Fondy or
Shingapoo
or something.
You're racist. You're
racist. No, I'm not. Not at all.
That sounded racist. Anyways, welcome.
Those
everybody.
Are names.
Oh, those are real names?
Well, Shingapoo may not be, but Fondy is.
Shingapoo sounds like something I did, right after I ate wings after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's what that sounds like. Anyways, we got a lot to get through today. There's so much to talk about. We're going to talk about, obviously, we just kind of brought it up, the Super Bowl. We'll get into that later. You probably don't want to really talk about it for long, but, And then after that, there's zero sports until baseball ends their lockout. I mean, I guess there's basketball. I guess there's that kind of, but
well, at least now I have to actually look at what's going on with baseball and why we're striking. There's no cap.
Yeah.
So it's what
are
they
asking
over?
For?
And so I don't know. I just love it when millionaires fight with billionaires.
I
know.
Funny. I know.
I mean, they can make all the money they want. I don't care.
That's not it. Just stop fighting.
When soccer is becoming more popular than baseball, I have an issue with it.
God, no! Please tell me that's not true. That can't be true.
I believe it is. Except for the cities where they have baseball teams,
grass fairies.
But there was one particular game 2 years ago, or it was before COVID, where the Cincinnati FC, the soccer team, had more fans than the Reds did at their game.
You're kidding me.
No.
I blame that. This is off topic, but I blame that on I blame that on the wussification of American children.
Yeah.
I do. Go run around and kick the ball. Don't get hit. Don't try to. I don't know. It's soccer. Hate it.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to talk about that. The entire game and everything. And one, I'll tell you one very, very positive thing that came out of that Bengals loss, and we'll get to that later. We're also going to talk about. You might notice or might not have noticed that this is episode 11, but yet there's only 10 available on YouTube. Why is that, Jim? Well,
I believe we were banned.
Yeah. Well, our good friends at YouTube, which we do, appreciate that that's a platform we can put these on, but they removed episode 8 completely. Banned it from there. I will explain all of that, what happened there, and some very interesting things that you can find on YouTube as we speak. At any rate, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about also, Jim, you're going to talk about the Durham Report for those
who... More information is and I'll have to remind people what that is.
We will.
For the liberals who will turn their mind off and not listen to what it's all about.
Yeah, so we'll have to tell them what that is and remind them how that has happened and what that's all about.
How it started because the Democrats thought they had something and they didn't.
Yeah.
And it backfired.
It backfired big time on them. We're going to also do our top 5 list, which is top 5 sports movies.
Yep. And boy, we requested
some feedback.
Some of our friends on Facebook to give some feedback,
and boy, did they.
It's going to take a little time to go through some of them.
Yeah, it will. I mean, we may not be able to get through all of them, but we certainly will. And, every week we have a new top 5. We're going to be asking everybody for theirs and their input. And it's great. I love it. I love the engagement.
Yes.
So just keep it coming.
Because we want people to listen from that.
We do.
Let's listen, see what's going on. So.
Yeah. And like you've mentioned 100 times, we talk about politics. We talk about sports. if one of those things interests you more than the other, I mean, skip through and listen to the sports part.
Yeah.
If you're not into sports, listen to the politics, and then give us some feedback on it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask us to go into more detail about things, or send us a topic to look at, and we'll talk about
it. Or rebut us on some things. We I mean, if there's some things that we're factually not saying, we want to get it right. Don't get me wrong. We want to get it right. Just bring facts. Just facts.
Not opinions.
If you're wrong and you say, boy, I'll tell you what, you guys are just, you guys are terrible and you don't, okay, why? Why are we? What did we say? That was, but anyways, we'll get into that. So that's top 5 sports movies this week, which was super hard. I'm telling you, it was probably
I thought it was
probably the hardest one we've done so far because I love so many sports movies. So many.
And then when you keep thinking of something, you're like,
I know, crap.
I forgot that one.
Oh, crap. And then there's people that, that gave feedback. I'm like, oh, crap. I totally even forgot about that one. It's a great movie. That's So that's what we're doing next week. It's top 5. And we'll mention it again when we do our top 5. We're going to go with top 5 most hated bands. So the bands you hate the most, your top 5 of those. I've got 2 off the bat right away. I mean, it just bingo. I just can't stand them.
I have 3.
You do?
And one of them I know for a fact when I say one of them, I'm either you're going to kick me off the show or people are, because it's going to be somebody that are people like, are you kidding me? But
really?
We'll talk about that next week.
Wow. I can't wait because your top 5 most liked bands could be my top 5 most hated bands.
Well, that's not fair because you haven't heard of couple of them.
I know, but I'm just saying I could take your list and just not even do any homework on it, man. Just there's my top 5 most hated bands. Every top 5 you like. That's not true. There was a couple in there I like. If you haven't heard that episode, I don't even know what episode that was.
1.
We did not do that on episode 1, Jim.
I'm pretty sure we did. I think that was the very first thing we did. Wasn't it?
For those listening, don't listen to Jim. Only listen to Dale. We did not do it in episode 1. I don't think we thought about doing a top 5 until after we bumbled our way through 1 or 2 episodes.
I'm pretty sure it was 1.
Jim, somebody fact check us on that. Let us know know how wrong Jim is and how right Dale is. We'd appreciate that.
Because the top 5 we've been anyway.
Stupid.
I digress.
You're stupid. But anyways, and then of course we got our famous AOCs or Schumers of the week.
Big Schumers.
Big Schumers. So let's just get started. Let's get into this.
Yep.
All right. As I mentioned, episode 8 of 2 Guys, 1 Coup has been removed permanently from YouTube. Probably because we've got so many followers and it's so popular that they're just focusing strictly on this podcast. Or maybe it's because they've got a bunch of bots out there that are, if they hear buzzwords, if they hear certain things, it sends them to a recording, and then from there they do whatever they want to do with it. First of all, I did appeal the decision because you're allowed to appeal. Denied. Appeal denied. So let me run through a few things. I want to run through a few things about YouTube. First of all, what that episode got banned for and removed for was for these reasons. Okay. They gave me reasons. All right. First of all, the warning was don't post election related content on YouTube if it fits any of the descriptions noted below. So let me repeat that for our slow friends in San Francisco. Don't post election-related content on YouTube if it fits any of the descriptions noted below. Voter suppression. What do they mean by that? Content aiming to mislead voters about the time, place, means, or eligibility requirements for voting, or false claims that could materially discourage voting. Pretty broad, right? I mean, but okay. Okay, that's fine. Voter suppression. I'm not.
That could fit both.
I'm not for voter suppression.
Right.
The second one is candidate eligibility. Content that advances false claims related to the technical eligibility requirements for current political candidates and sitting elected government officials to serve in office. Eligibility requirements considered are based on applicable national law and include age, citizenship, or vital status. Incitement to interfere with the democratic process is the next portion. That means content encouraging others to interfere with democratic processes. This includes obstructing or interrupting voting procedures. Now, I don't know how you do that on a video. I mean, I don't know how I would clearly do that. I don't even know how I would suppress somebody's vote on a video, but I guess
none of that we did.
None of that. So far, episode 8, which you can find on Rumble, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gone from YouTube, but you can also not as well.
That's
only
true.
Now,
right. Only on Rumble.
Only on Rumble. So the next one is distribution of hacked materials. What does that mean? That means content that contains hacked info, the disclosure of which may interfere with democratic processes. Again, was any of this in episode 8? Was any of it?
So far you've hit nothing.
Nothing. Finally, the last one. Election integrity. Now, what does election integrity mean?
That we hit.
So here we go. Here's where things get a little shaky for Two Guys, One Coup, episode 8.
Yeah.
Content that advances false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches change the outcome of select past national elections after final election results are officially certified. This currently applies to any past U.S. presidential election, the 2021 German federal election. I don't even know what's going on with that.
Ironically, that's the next show I was going to talk about.
Yeah. I'm super
They read my mind.
They did. Claims that a candidate only won a swing state in the U.S. 2020 presidential election due to voting machine glitches that changed votes. Claims that dead people voted in numbers that changed the outcome of the U.S. 2016 presidential election. And then lastly, claims that fake ballots were dumped to give one candidate enough votes to win a state in the past U.S. presidential election. So I've got more. Let me stop right there for a minute.
Yeah, because that pretty much fits what
that pretty much fits about. Episode 8, right?
Yeah.
But were they false?
According to them, they were.
Why?
Because it didn't meet their narrative.
I clearly asked them if they are false. If what we said was false, please provide the counter argument to that with proof that it was. Give me. So upon my appeal, our appeal, I get our review confirmed that this content violates YouTube's community guidelines. No further appeal is possible. So that's it. Whatever. Episode 8 gone. Big tech winning again, right?
Yeah.
The little guy. I mean, how much? I mean, who are we?
Yeah.
Right now, who are we? Two Guys, One Coup. That's
the point is the information that you presented
mm-hmm.
on the show is going to be a movie here soon.
Was not presented as this is 100% true fact.
Right.
This is what is going to be
and
in
we
that
always
documentary.
We say at the end is go out and research it.
Do it yourself.
Research it. I mean, this is what we've seen. This is what we have. And there's nothing we can do
on it.
Yeah, there's nothing we could do. I mean, President Trump can't become president again. We want this fixed for the 2022 and 2024 elections. We want it fixed.
I think you and I clearly said that our goal is not to reinstate President Trump. That's not happening. It
can't.
Right. Any of the people out there that think it is going to happen have no clear idea of how the Supreme Court will shut that down. whether it's conservative or liberal. They just are not going to remove a sitting president on this fact. Yeah. So we've always said that. We just want it fixed, like you said. We've always claimed that this is what's coming out. If this really did happen, could it or should it change? I mean, that's not up to me to decide, right? It could. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't know. But, and we've clearly have been, I think, stating that for quite some time.
Yeah.
But some bot out there in YouTube world picked up on that episode, which we clearly talked about election integrity and all that, mm-hmm. and ballots and all that. We talked about that coming out on video. That's what's not our movie, you know. And they removed episode 8. But here are some of the videos available still today that you can watch on YouTube if you so choose. Okay. I got some titles here I want to read to you. Here's the first one. Hillary Clinton claims 2016 election was stolen from her.
That violates one of the YouTube.
That violates an election integrity.
Integrity.
Yep. Integrity, yep. Right? 335,000 views. It was posted 2 years ago. Yeah. Our episode was posted 3 weeks ago. That's removed.
With evidence to back it.
With evidence to back it. Posted 2 years ago. Here's another one for you. Hillary Clinton. Trump knows he's an illegitimate president. Posted 2 years ago. 126,000 views. Hillary Clinton voters call to overturn results. 8,000 views posted 5 years ago. What happened 5 years ago? Oh, that's right. President Trump won the 2016 presidential election. That's still
President Trump, a Republican, conservative.
Well, there you have it. Yeah. But that's still available to watch.
Again, it didn't meet their narrative. That's the whole point.
It didn't meet their narrative. So here's another one. Hillary Clinton urges Americans to vote so Trump can't steal the election. Posted 1 year ago. 19,000 views posted 1 year ago. Here's one that just is simply called election integrity. It's just simply called election integrity. Now, is that not one of their violations?
Yeah.
Still up there. You can watch it.
It's the cancel culture today.
Here's the next one. It's a cancel culture. America's biggest issues. Election integrity. That's still up there. 100,000 views posted 3 years ago. Texas Senate passes controversial election integrity bill. 55,000 views. It's up there for 1 year. I have about 6 more. Do you want me to read them or move on? Am I boring anybody? Well, there's just some. Here's one posted 1 month ago. Before our episode came out, Biden Harris deliver remarks on voting rights and election integrity. 72,000 views in a month. Still up there for you to watch on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Trump keeps pushing voter fraud allegations. That's from our good friends at CBS News. That was posted 5 years ago. But because Trump's pushing it, I guess that's why it's allowed up there. Como, GOP officials spar over voter fraud. Posted 4 years ago.
Well, the Trump.
Are you getting it?
With you, when you said CBS and Trump, is it basically CBS saying that, you know, Trump's still pushing this narrative and this is how wrong he is and everything? Yes. That's why.
Yep, that's right.
If they agreed with him, it wouldn't be on there.
Correct. That's why NBC News also has one on here called Donald Trump Goes All In on Unsupported Large-Scale Voter Fraud Election Claims. That's from NBC News. That's still up there.
Look, let's just wait for the video to come out, Dinesh D'Souza, and let everybody decide. I mean, just, you know, I want to be careful what we say because I don't want to keep having our, you know, episodes taken off.
Well, me neither. I mean, I'm not. What am I saying here? These are up there.
It's the hypocrisy. We've talked about it since day one, and it didn't meet the narrative that's out there with cancel culture.
Of course not.
And that's what it is. So
of course not.
Because when I go over our conservative candidate potential, you know, candidate today, we did DeSantis last week, and do another one today.
Yeah.
there's probably things in there that,
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I'm just saying that might do it. I would like to read one more if you don't mind.
No, perfect.
Because it has 1 million views in 1
I always
year.
like to hear your voice.
Oh, it's soothing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's so soothing. I put people to sleep during these.
Gives me little tingles.
It gives you little. I've got 2. I'm going to read 2 more just because I have to. All right. This one is PA. So Pennsylvania Republican reveals there was fraud in state's election by the GOP. Oh,
that's allowed to be on there.
1 million views posted a year ago. Million. And the last one. My Pillow CEO's election fraud proof implodes in front of live audience, as posted by CNN. 2.1 million views in 8 months.
I think that was actually inaccurate too, because I don't think it imploded.
It didn't implode. But who am I?
Nobody was able to prove.
You be the judge of it. I better come out. Warning. Some things might be controversial on a podcast. Go out and research it yourself. I mean, it's a fucking podcast, right? It's our opinion.
Well, I mean, you got that situation where Joe Biden saved 80 million people from an earthquake. I mean, it was just a wonderful story out there. I mean, it's just the man is awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
See, that was unfactual, but I bet you it doesn't get taken.
I bet you doesn't get taken down for that. That's right. Joe Biden said he's going to cure cancer. Remember?
That's right.
Remember
it could lead. You know what? It might lead the MSNBC News. Biden saves 80 million people.
It's probably on there now as we speak. So
yeah,
you're probably right. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to review and just let you can't. Hello. Are you shitting me?
Nope.
Why?
There you are. There you go.
What do you mean?
I couldn't hear you. It went off. I'm not kidding.
It went off like it was on mute or something?
Yeah, we really need a producer.
Listen, I'm going to try to turn this down some. So just let me know if you hear me, okay?
That's good.
Right now it's good? It's not too loud? It's not?
No.
I am so sorry, people, for this.
But I think you went when you went like this.
Yeah, I was just kind of moving.
For some reason, I think that's when it went off. So.
Jesus God.
I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't affect our professional videoing here.
I know you said you couldn't hear me, and listen, that's going to be in this because I'm not going to spend the time cutting that bullshit out.
Yeah, because I'm still seeing when I look at myself, I still see like there's a second delay in what I'm saying and what. So
is there?
I don't
whatever.
know what to do. It might be the microphone. I would have to figure something out. But
I think we've gone
hopefully
over.
The listeners, this isn't professional. We're our own private studios. We don't have.
Yeah. We have Amazon purchased equipment.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Jim,
we make it work.
Yeah, we make it work, Jim. That's what I got on the YouTube stuff. I just again, I appreciate the fact that we can put our stuff on there. Yeah. I am really. Yeah. I was baffled that it got removed, especially ours, because who the hell? How did that even get tagged?
Because initially, and it's still possible, somebody could have reported us. A bot could have caught it. I mean, and so if there's in fact are people listening and it did get reported, why don't you just ask us about it first?
Yeah, why don't you come out and ask us,
come to us first?
Yeah, or try to. Try to bring, facts that prove your point, which we are more than willing to listen to. I am.
Because part of the Hillary Clinton issues that you talked about before is what we're going to be talking about here shortly on the Durham Reports.
Oh, this is a pretty good leeway into it. Do you want to get into it? Because
I think we should, because this could take some time.
And I think I bashed YouTube enough, right, for the day.
Well, it's not that we bashed YouTube. It's just because seriously, if we talked about voter integrity, and we did, but we used things that are coming out, right? And it's not in some cases they were proven in a court of law, right?
There were rulings.
But if you're going to do that, why is Hillary still on there?
Yep.
Why is
all
this
these?
That's all we're asking.
Listen,
that's it.
The list I have consists of about 20 that I just saw. There's thousands and thousands of those out there that talk about that subject. So anyways, all right, Jim, well, let's get into this. should be a bombshell report, what should be headline news in your papers and on every major news, cable, and mainstream media news channel, but it's not. So what is that, Jim?
Right. And what, if no one's heard it, the Durham Report.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this was just to let everybody know, when the 2016 election took place and it was all said and done, the Democrats tried to tie President Trump with Russia, a collusion where it was proven there was this dossier made up, and it proved that he worked with Russia to steal the election. Even though we all know deep down, who would Russia rather have as president?
Yeah.
It was Hillary, guys.
Of course it was.
Russia could, like, they're manipulating Biden right now.
Mm-hmm.
That, notice how all these countries are doing these things
Yep.
when Trump's not in office.
Yep.
This is out there. But anyway, in 2016, the Durham Report comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, it was the Mueller Report. All right, the Mueller Report was presented, and all these Democrats went out, asked for special counsel for Mueller, trying to get this, protect him, do all this stuff, because people are going to attack him. Well, over the time of the Mueller Report on the dossier, one, it was proven that it was it was created by a ex-British intelligence officer for the Clintons, and maybe even higher up, but we just know that it was with the Clintons.
Yep.
So what all this did is and as these were being found, and as these were being reported, it was discovered that it was actually unfactual. It was a lie.
It was a
basic lie.
Made up.
So the Trump administration, Attorney General Barr at the time, decided, okay, we're going to do our own probe, because now something's going on here and we think something happened. Mm-hmm. So the Durham investigation, and notice there's no leaks in this investigation. We have heard no leaks. Nope. Whereas the Mueller Report, all these leaks that come out, right? Well, it is really hitting a lot harder now.
Yep.
There's just in the last month, there's been reports that grand juries have been called and brought in by high-ranking FBI officials.
Correct.
And now they only say officials. They don't say names. They'll say titles. They won't use names.
Yeah, they'll use. Yeah.
So now all this will come out. All this will come out. Now, I will state one thing. A special counsel, John Durham, can only be removed by an attorney general or somebody acting in the position of the attorney general.
Uh-oh.
You want to wager in the next couple of weeks?
Yep. He's
removed?
Yep.
Because he's finding stuff, folks. He's the one that reported that. Well, let's just Sussman. Okay, we're just going to talk about Michael Sussman, who is a lawyer for Hillary Clinton at the time. Told then James Baker that no, I'm not investigating anything else. I'm working on this. Well, come to find out that he was actually working with somebody. It was Hillary Clinton putting together this dossier and these. When I get to this illegal tapping and everything else, which should sound familiar to some people.
Yeah.
But the indictment against Sussman says that the FBI General Counsel, James Baker, in September 2016, less than 2 months before the 2016 presidential election, that he was not doing work for any client when he requested and held a meeting in which he presented purported data and white papers that allegedly demonstrated a covert communication channel between Trump Organization and Alpha Bank. Okay, that was the big one, right?
Yep.
Which has ties to the Kremlin. That's where that's what started this. Okay, that's what kicked everything, because that comment right there is what Sussman is on trial for, or will be on trial for, because he's accused of lying. Okay, now he's since reported not guilty, or he's plead not guilty, but okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's there.
So now, remember our friends Peter Strzok?
I do.
The wonderful FBI guy? Okay.
I do. Who was having an affair with that? Yep.
He was the one having an affair with another special counsel where they were doing Trump benching texts going on all over the place.
Yep.
Okay, doing this, doing that. Well, the thing is, Peter Strzok was in part of this investigation.
Correct. Okay,
so again, maybe there's some issues there. I don't know. I'm not there. I wasn't there. But Strzok, who was part of the original investigation into whether Trump campaign was colluding with Russia to influence the 2016 presidential election, in later special counsel report, Mueller's office was fired from the FBI 2018 after months of scrutiny regarding anti-Trump text messages exchanged with former FBI General Counsel Lisa Page.
Yep.
The one he was
having an affair
with.
Yep.
Their anti-Trump text messages were uncovered by the Justice Department Inspector Generals. Okay. So that, this is where we're at from that one. Mm-hmm. Now, Elias Law Firm, Perkins Coie, Coie, is the firm that the Democrat National Committee and the Clinton campaign funded the anti-Trump dossier through. Mm-hmm. Funded the anti-Trump dossier through.
That's important.
The unverified, did you catch that?
Yeah.
Unverified dossier was authorized by ex-British intelligence Christopher Steele and commissioned by opposition research firm Fusion GPS.
Yep.
All right. So basically, in a nutshell, what we are proving, and I think, it hasn't been decided yet because remember, this is still in trial, but it shows that anyway, I gotta read this one. Okay.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Fox News first reported on Durham's February 11th filing, which alleged that lawyers from Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in 2016 had paid to infiltrate servers belonging to Trump Tower and later the White House.
Yes.
In order to establish an inference and narrative to bring to the federal government agencies linking Donald Trump to Russia.
That's not to interrupt you, but that what that says for somebody who's maybe what is going on? I'm a little confused. What that says right there is that they not only spied on him during his campaign, but they spied on him as a sitting United States American president while he was in office. Yeah. Go on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
basically wiretapped a sitting president. Jim Jordan is furious with this whole thing. He is absolutely furious.
As so should everybody who cares about the democratic process.
Take Trump's name out of it.
Put Obama's name in there, and then say
this should not be.
Yep.
All right. So here's another one that Durham also wrote that during Sussman's trial, the government will establish that among the Internet Data Executive One. Okay, we don't know who that is.
We don't know.
And his associates exploited was domain name system DNS internet trafficking pertaining to one, a particular healthcare network.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
2, Trump Tower.
Yep.
3, Donald Trump's Central Park West apartment building.
And
the executive office of the President of the United States.
Yeah. That's the big
one.
Now,
how many times do we have to hear about Watergate?
Oh, so that's kind of what I was going to say. Okay. 30 seconds of wiretapping at the Democratic National Committee at Watergate. 30 seconds of wiretapping that led to President Richard Nixon's resignation because he was going to be impeached.
Resignation.
He resigned as president because he got caught wiretapping the Democratic National Committee at the Watergate Hotel. That's where Watergate came from. For 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yet this shit's going on.
Yeah. And kind of lastly, because folks, there's a lot here. And I'm not going to bore. I am not going to bore everybody with all this stuff.
The legalese yet.
Here's what I want to add, and to just, it's just wrong. Okay. Democrats who once pushed to protect then special counsel Robert Mueller, which everything was debunked, right? To ensure that his Russia investigation would continue without interference, sang an entirely different tune when the Trump administration appointed John Durham as special counsel.
That's right.
So there have already been under Durham, under Mueller's investigation, 0.
Mm-hmm.
Were right? No charges brought up against anybody.
Yep.
For the Durham Report, 3 have so far.
So far.
Igor Danchenko on November 4th, 2021. Kevin Kleinsmith in August of 2020. And Michael Sussman in September of 2021.
Yep.
So now the reason why Sussman is in trouble, paid to access servers belonging to Trump Tower and later the White House in order to establish an interference and narrative to bring the federal government down to try and collude with that.
Correct.
Okay. So when basically what I'm trying to get out on this portion of it, our wonderful, wonderful representative that I just love more than anything, Adam Schiff.
Oh, God.
And Jerry
Schiff
Nadler. Adam Schiff of California and Jerry Nadler of New York. Mm-hmm. Stand-up men.
Oh.
Stand-up men believe in equal treatment of everyone.
In case YouTube's listening.
Did you sense the bullshit that I just said? Anyway, they slammed the use of Mueller and didn't want him protected, or they slammed the use of Durham.
Yep.
Didn't want him protected, but they allowed the protection of Mueller, who came up with nothing.
Of course. Lies.
Okay. So, during Mueller's earlier investigation, Schiff was eager to protect the special counsel's office to ensure Mueller could continue the Russia probe without interference. In 2018, he told MSNBC's Rachel Maddow that Congress has to take up a bill to protect Mueller so that it don't invite a crisis.
Yes.
Has that worked?
Exactly.
So, anyway, again.
Well, let me add a little bit to this.
Let's go ahead because this is.
Well, my point. It's not just a nightmare. I mean, if people aren't really getting the ramifications of all of this, that there were wiretaps. Somebody comes in and puts a bug in your bedroom, a wiretap in your bedroom. How's that make? What do you think? You think that's legal? You think somebody should go to jail for that? You think there's that should be allowed? Or
better yet, a father have it done to your daughter.
Yeah. I mean, is that right? So if you're not getting it, they spied on a sitting American president.
Yep.
Basically by the guy who was in charge of the IT portion of the White House servers. That guy.
Yep.
They infiltrated him. He bugged it, allegedly. So they say right now. I better say that, right? I guess.
The Clintons were involved.
Yes. So that is huge. But remember, and I just jotted down some notes, that in October of 2020, President Trump at the time appeared on 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl. Do you remember that interview, Jim, at all?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, where he claimed that his campaign and himself were being spied on by the Obama-Biden administration, where Leslie Stahl said, there's no real evidence. This is 60 Minutes. We can't put on things we can't verify. So I'll sit back and wait for Leslie Stahl to apologize. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she'll come out with because they're 60. Oh, they're so moral at 60 Minutes. They got such ethics. That's what she said. Meanwhile, our good friends at CNN, Don Lemon, and at the time, Chris Como, who has since been fired for sexual allegations, criticized John Durham and the Trump administration in 2019 for being adamant about uncovering the truth, yet coming up short. In quote, nothing happens and they just move on to the next conspiracy theory, Lemon said to Como during the time. It is never going to end. And guess what? People who want to believe that BS are going to believe it. So I'll wait for Don Lemon's apology, for that.
The point of the matter is, excuse me, Donald Trump would not have put John Durham to investigate this.
Correct.
If he wasn't investigated for this, right?
That's right. That's right.
They started it.
Yep.
They started it and thought this fake dossier was going to be to carry all the way through. Well, you got a man who will not sit and let his name be ran through the mud. He will fight.
Yep.
Okay, he's not like other people, like the
They weren't counting on
Romneys
that.
of the world. And
They weren't counting on
Bushes.
that, I don't think.
They're not backing away.
Correct.
So he fought it, and now, and we all knew there was no charges brought in any time during the Mueller investigation. No charges. But as the Durham went through, and remember, grand jury testimony will be coming out, folks.
Yep, it will be.
There are issues out there where he was wiretapped.
Yep.
4 different locations.
4 different locations.
And one of them was the office of the President of the United States. Guys, I hate to do this. I really do, because I don't like it when we do that, because it should be wrong either way.
It should
I
be.
just asked the liberals, put Obama's name in front of Trump.
Or Biden
right now, this would be absolutely destroyed. I mean, CNN would be talking about it. MSNBC would be talking about it, which, in fact, MSNBC did talk about this, but the other way.
The other way, right?
It was like the Durham Report, again, shows that Trump will stop at nothing to, to bring down this and everything. And
here's what MSNBC's headline was: Trump's man at the DOJ is feeding a new Clinton conspiracy.
That's it.
That's what you can find on MSNBC right now.
Completely
ABC,
opposite.
no report, no
Completely
story.
opposite.
NBC, no report, no story. CBS, no report, no story. CNN is stating that the Durham, they reported on it for 2 minutes and 44 seconds when it was first announced this week. CNN is stating that the Durham report is vague and fueling Trump supporters.
Well, see, I'm trying to figure out why they can say vague when we don't know, because he doesn't leak it.
Correct.
We know that high officials have been called for a grand jury. We can suspect who they are. We don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are.
The final report is not out yet.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
But
this is crazy. This would be this should be the biggest story.
What would happen if one of these journalists at these newspapers or these networks that we
did
just
their
talked
job?
About, yeah. What if they did their job and went out and honestly helped the American people understand what we're dealing with?
They'd be fired. It's their boss that has to allow them to do their job.
So
they couldn't do their job.
Look, folks, just look at the Durham Report. Go ahead and look at NBC if you want to. Look at Fox. Look at the Gateway Pundit. Look at all of these, and just see that during the Mueller investigation, there was no evidence found. And
which led to this. Yeah.
With what evidence was found during that investigation caused to John Durham Report.
Yep.
Because
led back to the Democrats.
There's a fake dossier that was put out there by a British operative. Yep. I mean, use an American operative, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's like
paid for by who again? Who paid for
Hillary
this?
Clinton.
The Hillary Clinton campaign paid for it. Yeah. And push this. That's so when you look at this Durham, like, what is going on? We still talking about what the hell is none of this, like you said, would be happening today if not for the fake narrative and the 4 years of pushing Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia, Trump, Russia. Yep. That's why this had to be done. Mm-hmm. It had to be done. And boy, I'm telling you, I don't get why it's not headline news one way or the other. I mean, you have spied on a sitting American president, stay tuned. More is coming. Stay tuned. Yeah. More shoes are dropping. Where are you reaching to, Jim? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm grabbing my next thing because we probably should. Yeah. Unless you have anything else to add.
I got nothing else to add to that. It just pisses me off. That this guy it came to this. But go on.
Well, he, like we talked about before, these investigations cost millions and millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. It's going nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's going nowhere. You're going to have people on the left that are going to say, oh, this is fake. It's made up. It's not true.
Yep.
There's going to be money given to these individuals who probably will not serve jail time. They'll probably have fines they have to do and stuff like that. And
Very
Hillary
true.
Clinton and Barack Obama come out smelling like roses because there's nothing
Always.
attached to them.
Correct.
This just infuriates me of all the money that is wasted on all this stuff. The January 6th insurrection, we're still paying for this. We're still talking about this.
Yep.
And nothing. I mean, there's no evidence of anything.
Jim, it goes beyond the money for me. The government has, if they're not wasting money on this, they're going to waste it on some other bullshit. You know, that's what the government does, right?
Well, yeah, but
right and left. But my issue, my issue is that, and we reviewed this show after show after show, that we are living through the consequences of all of this.
Yes.
We are stuck with a bumbling idiot in the White House because of the false narratives that the media has driven and drove into everybody's head for the previous 5 years, which led to potentially Trump not winning that election, right? Led to an election where now we are stuck with Biden Harris. I mean, let's get real. That's what pisses me off more than anything, is that heads might roll on this. They might not roll on this Durham report. I don't know. The whole point is that they did so much fucking illegal stuff that now we're stuck paying the consequences for it. Mm-hmm. I'm paying more everywhere I go. I can't get items I want. Inflation is skyrocketed. This all trickled down from the fact that they just couldn't stand the fact that Trump beat fucking Hillary Clinton. Yep. That's what pisses me off more than anything.
And one other thing to add to that kind of to tell you how honest and trustworthy the Clintons are. They had a Clinton Foundation.
They did.
Right? And money was given by foreign countries. I believe Russia was one of them. Money given to this. Now, for them to help. Like the big issue was Haiti. When Haiti went through that, everyone's asking, well, wait a minute. This money that everyone's giving you for the Clinton Foundation, why aren't you helping Haiti? Isn't that what that's for?
Yeah.
Well, ironically, what happened to the Clinton Foundation when she lost the presidential campaign?
Gee, I can't find it anywhere.
They closed it down.
They closed it down. Why?
Okay, look.
Come on.
Just people. Follow it, guys. I mean, she was bought and paid for by foreign countries. Russia did not want Trump to win.
Russia included.
Yep. So she lost a lot of money and a lot of clout losing the election.
Correct.
That's why she's mad. That's why she's angry. And we are better for it because who knows what she would have sold.
I know.
Who knows?
I know. Okay? At least we had the 4 years of reprieve before this nonsense we're experiencing today.
So look up the Durham Report, folks. Just look it up.
Look it up.
Just
do your research.
Take it for what it is. Okay.
Yep.
Now we started talking about Republican conservative candidates, possibly for president, or just flat out good conservatives to follow.
Yeah.
You did a great job on DeSantis. One of my favorite. I hope he runs for president. I hate what happens to Florida, with losing him. Yeah. But I think the man has shown leadership, and he stood up to the big guys and batted them away, and he's actually been proven correct in the end.
Correct.
So, but another one I wanted to talk about, I've mentioned him on this show many times.
Yep.
And I first was introduced to him in the convention in 2020, the Republican National Convention. Mm-hmm. And his name is Tim Scott.
Yep.
Never didn't hear about him much before that, but when I heard him speak and I heard what he said, how he stood, I'm like, folks, why aren't African Americans following this guy?
Yep.
Why are they not following his lead, what he did?
Yep.
He was born September 19th in 1965 in North Charleston, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. He attended Presbyterian College, Charles Southern University, where he's got a BS. He's alumnus of South Carolina's Palmetto Boys State Program. Okay, and he's a member of the Seacoast Church of Charleston, so he's a very religious individual.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He grew up in a poor single-parent household in North Charleston, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. A young Tim Scott grew accustomed to moving every few years as well because his mother had to go where the work was at.
Yep.
I would like to meet her because she made sure she worked and she worked and she worked. Tim Scott had some problems with grades, and he was failing high school. So he found a mentor, and his mother. They stood by him. Is this who you want to be? Is this what you want to be? So with that, he changed his life around. Went to college, got his grades back on track, and it led him to, he was elected to the Charleston County Council, the South Carolina House of Representatives, and the United States House of Representatives, and the United States Senate.
Yep.
Now, one of the stories that he told that is not in his bio that I've got to repeat, because if it doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will.
Yep.
He talked about his grandfather. His grandfather grew up in South Carolina where if he was walking on one side of the road and a white man was walking towards him, he had to go on the other side of the road.
His grandfather did.
His grandfather did, in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That grandfather got to watch his son or his grandson be elected to the House of Representatives and then a state senator elected by white people. Yep. Majority of the people that voted for Tim Scott were white. When he was on that convention, he told that story, and he said it made me proud because my grandfather got to see both sides of South Carolina, the bad side and then the good side.
It's a great story.
It was just a great story that his grandfather got to see him be voted in to the Senate. And this man is remarkable. There's no excuses in his life, what he has done. Now, which a lot of you liberals probably did not hear because, we had a racist president in Donald Trump.
Oh, correct.
But one of the things that he did was an opportunity zones. And he helped with the backing, a big-time backing of President Trump, that he put the opportunity. Now, what is this? Okay.
Yeah.
It is a bipartisan initiative, authorized by Tim Scott, enacted through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, empowered the governors of each state, empowered the governors of each state. I had to repeat that again. To designate economically distressed communities that were ripe for investment and tie them to a brand new federal tax incentive to drive private investment into our nation's most distressed zip codes.
So not just red states.
Right.
Each state.
Every state.
Wow.
So now these opportunity zones is what it is. The governors get to decide where it goes and what investment is going to be done. All right. Right now, 8,764 census tracts have since been designated as opportunity zones. 31.5 million people currently call opportunity zones home. Okay. So we go through all of this. Majority of it, 57%, is minority, right? Okay. This is where it's at, where the average income is $47,000, $27,000 below the national average. So these are some of the requirements. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it basically allows taxpayers to reap significant tax benefit. It takes a person who wants to build a plant or business or something, and if you do it in a distressed area, you get tax incentives. Now, that's the tax incentive I want. Not to put a solar panels on my house or buy an electric car or something like that. This is the investment that I want to see. Because what is it doing? It's putting money into economically challenged areas and giving them incentives.
And promoting entrepreneurialism.
Bingo.
I mean, that's the more important part.
So in South Carolina, new buildings slated for Orangeburg County Industrial Park, $21 million of private investment. Part of this bill. New business opens in Aikens Opportunity Zone. Okay. Carolina Opportunity Funds chooses bioeconomy solutions to build. In Arkansas, Safe Foods opens state-of-the-art at North Little Rock facility. So Safe Foods has now built. So what does that do? That brings jobs to the area to help these. Tennessee, $21 million construction financing via Walker and Dunlop in an opportunity zone. Illinois, Chicago investors target $750 million for. Now, we know what's going to happen to that money.
We do.
It's going to stay with whoever it is. It's not really going to go, but the money is there. Colorado, Utah, Pennsylvania, Florida, Montana, Missouri, Georgia, Maine, Maryland, New York, and California have all benefited from this.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, this is a plan that he put together and was passed and helped pass by then President Donald Trump, the racist guy he is.
The most racist president we've ever had.
Yep. But Tim Scott pushed this initiative. So he is a very conservative candidate. I do not know if he's going to run for president. I do not know if he has any targets for that. I would like to see it, but it's up to him to do it.
Yep.
Now, okay, so Senator Scott, it leads his colleagues into introducing a bipartisan bill to reinstate critical tax relief for businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is tax relief to help businesses that have been affected by COVID, right?
Yep.
So that's what we have. So I want to talk about this one, and then I'll get to this other one because it meets the criteria you talked about last week, which is awesome. Senator Scott, Representative Owens, op-ed on education disparities and school choice.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
okay. So in school choice is being able to have, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yep.
Okay. You can choose. As a black man, he grew up in the Deep South, and he says, we are all too familiar with discrimination and setbacks. Yet today, we're both living our dreams and serving in Congress. These two representatives that did that.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're trying to get the opportunities for African Americans for failing schools to be able to leave the failing schools. Which, what was this done? This was Bush, right? President Bush did this. Mm-hmm. You don't see any Democrats doing it.
No.
They just want money thrown at them, which
exactly.
we all know what happens when money.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the one you're going to appreciate. Mm-hmm. Scott and Rubio and colleagues introduced the Crack Act. U.S. Senator Tim Scott, along with Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, and several of their Republican colleagues introduced the Cutting Off Rampant Access to Crack Kits.
Yep.
The bill would amend Section 2706 of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to prohibit any funds from directly or indirectly purchasing, supplying, or distributing crack pipes or similar drug paraphernalia.
Crazy they had to actually present that, right?
So review why that is funny.
Well, because, and now the White House is denying it. Okay. Jen Psaki is denying the report that there is a new $31 million, was it million? Million. I have to remember, but I think $1 million bill pushed through that will supply smoke kits which will include, and the Department of Health and Human Services confirmed this, but the White House denies it, crack pipes. So clean needles and new crack pipes, but only if you fall within Joe Biden's equity requirements, which are African Americans and the LGBTQ plus people. Those are the ones. Yeah. So now, apparently, due to that, Scott and Rubio said, wait a second.
Had to pass a bill.
We got to pass a bill? We're
drug dealers now.
We're drug dealers. We got to pass a bill to say that we aren't drug dealers, right? Unreal. But, yeah. Well, good countermeasure. Good countermeasure.
But, folks, don't we want to help the people on drugs? Not help them stay on drugs. We want to help them off of drugs. I don't think giving them clean crack pipes and clean needles is going to get them off drugs.
I don't think so. I think it's
I think we're going to have more ODs, which maybe this is their way of aborting people. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. It's just, long-term abortions plan.
Yeah. So anyway.
Anyways, go on.
So that's Tim Scott.
He's great.
Look him up.
Look him up.
I'm on his newsletter. I've been reaching out to him, saying that he's an inspiration, even though I'm not in your district, I'm not in your state. But he is someone that I try to push towards people that I know. Yeah. Just look him up.
Just look him up.
Look at it.
Do the research.
The man's story is wonderful. Just listen to him talk.
It's a true American dream.
It is.
He's lived the true American dream.
And he wasn't like Obama, where he was chosen. And then Obama was placed in these positions. Tim Scott actually had to work for what he got. He had to achieve for what he got. And
what's that word again? What word did you use?
Achieve.
Work. No, work.
Yeah, he had to work for it. And I just he's a marvel. I love listening to him. I love hearing him talk. Everyone talks about how Barack Obama is this great speaker. Just listen to Tim Scott speak.
Whatever.
I mean, now he is not married, so that's why I didn't go into family, because he's not married. But he's just follow him if you can, because he is great. He's fantastic. One of my favorites. I really do like him, and one from a standpoint that we're showing that African Americans, conservatism isn't racist.
No.
It's deemed racist because we believe we're going to help you up. Mm-hmm. We're not going to give you a handout. We're going to help you up. We're going to help you up. We're going to show you how to do this. We're going to make you do it, or not make you, but we're going to show you how to do it and be able to take care of yourself. But for some reason, that is deemed racist to some. Yeah. And that's not it.
Work is
Tim Scott,
racist.
Tim Scott never let what he was at, where he was at, who he was, and his mother and this mentor never let him do that. Now he's successful.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of stories like this. Yeah, he's wonderful. Look him up. He's great.
And so we're going to continue this. We're going to continue trying to look at candidates for a little while. And then, of course, we're going to get into, midterms and things like that. And then as it gets, a couple of years, as we get closer to the presidential, we'll know who's going to run. He is definitely potential for sure. Like you said, I don't know if he has the aspirations to. He could be really a good VP candidate for sure.
Which might be the first thing he.
Which might be the first thing he does. Stuff, but at any rate,
great man.
Great man. Absolutely great man. So, good report. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Appreciate the research on it too. Which is not often what people do is the research.
They don't. Sure. They just make it up as they go.
Well, just make it up because they're allowed to. Fuck it. Who cares?
So now we'll touch briefly on the Super Bowl. That'll lead us into our top 5 sports movies of all time.
Well, there was a game. And I'm going to let you talk first. I'll let you talk first.
Now, I'm going to say this right now, and I've been on my on Facebook, Bengal fan pages and stuff, and I am about ready to kill people.
Yeah.
I have never been one, and I never will be one to blame officials for a game. Mm-hmm. I never will do it. It probably pisses everybody off.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with that. I had people on these sites saying that bought and paid for. The Super Bowl is bought and paid for those last calls. Now, those last calls at the end of the game, the one wasn't pass interference. There was an illegal motion on 3rd and 8 that wasn't caught.
Wasn't caught.
And would have prevented the unnecessary roughness penalty where Von Bell hit him in the head. Yep. But also that ruling that when Cup was hit in the head, he had to come out of the game. Anytime you get hit in the head, you have to come out of the game with the concussion protocol. Well, okay, take all that aside.
Yep.
We never would have had to deal with that.
Yep.
If the freaking offensive line could have kept those guys off of Joe Burrow 4 less times. Okay?
4 less times. Especially the last time.
Yes, it was the 7 sacks that did it, guys. It wasn't the bad calls.
Yeah.
Well, 7 because the last one really wasn't a sack because he threw the ball away.
Did they not count that? I thought they counted it in the grasp.
All the numbers I see are 20 total sacks for the playoffs, and that was
okay. Gotcha.
So I can't sit there and blame the officials, especially with the one touchdown that Cincinnati got where T. Higgins kind of face masked Jalen Ramsey, which couldn't happen to a better person because I hate Jalen Ramsey. But look, guys. As much as we want to do this, as much as we get angry at watching our teams and the officiating, that's not what loses games for teams, guys. It's how your team adapts to it. Okay,
agreed. But I think you remember in the playoffs a few years ago, the was it
the Ohio State Clemson game?
No. I'm not talking college. Okay. I'm not. Which we could talk about that one. I don't want to talk about that one. But the New Orleans Saints, was it against the Vikings?
Yeah.
The pass interference that was not called.
Right.
They do interject themselves at some odd times, or they decide not to interject themselves. The refs, I'm talking about.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay, just so you know, I mean, it was a game. It was a game where they let the teams play, and they did, and it was enjoyable to watch that. Where there were not flag after flag after flag after flag. But then in the last 2 minutes, they kind of went flag happy to me. Okay, I'm just saying.
Super Bowl this year?
Yes,
yeah, they did.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, they went flag happy,
and not at the right times.
And I'm not saying that's why the Bengals lost. I'm just saying there is something to these refs not being held accountable for what they do. Now, when I say not held accountable, there have been refs that have been let go. There have been refs that can no longer do certain games. There's that kind of crap. There have been refs that have been fined. I get that. But it was just weird timing is all I'm saying.
Well, the last 4th and 1 play of the game.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron Donald lined up offsides.
His head was past the ball.
Completely past the ball.
It was definitely neutral zone.
So what I go back to is if Tyler Boyd, which is not his fault, the guy hadn't dropped a pass all year long.
I know.
Dropped that 3rd down pass where he probably would have gotten the 1st down. The Bengals could have. No, he kept driving.
I know.
Set it down.
I know.
So if that would have happened, if the sacks wouldn't have happened to give Burrow more time to throw, then I think we never would have had that last 2 minutes that happened.
I agree. I agree.
So I'm just not one of these guys. There's bad calls made all the time. You can sit there and say, "Oh, my team got screwed. My team got screwed." Well, Rams could have said we got screwed because T. Higgins had pass interference. So
agreed.
It just happened to be at the wrong time of the game. I understand. Why don't you call penalties through the whole game, but you're going to decide to call them the last 2 minutes?
Well, why don't you call penalties that were actual penalties?
Yeah,
and then you start calling ones that. I'm sorry, that wasn't a pass. Who's your linebacker? 51.
That was Logan Wilson.
Logan Wilson, amazing linebacker. Yeah. By the way, the guy was all over the field. That was not a pass interference or holding call. I don't know which one they called, but it was not pass interference. That was not clearly not a pass interference.
And there was a couple others during that time that look. I agree, don't make the officials be that.
I agree.
Make your, and look,
win by 25, and you don't have to worry about an official.
What did I tell you?
Screwing you again.
Going into the Super Bowl, what scared me the most
was the offensive line.
Offensive line against the defensive front.
What didn't scare me though was your left side of your offensive line, but they failed too. So
there's a couple times that Spain did get burnt the last play, but did you started seeing how they shifted?
Well,
the defensive line put everybody on the right side of the. So you had your left tackle and left guard blocking no one.
I know.
And the other ones, Cincinnati didn't make the adjustments that they should have made.
Correct.
And
but do you want to know? Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know what
good news.
Yeah.
The great news about the Cincinnati Bengals losing. And you might not have realized this, and you probably will now, is that they do not have to go meet President Biden.
Yeah, that was in there. That was in the. I saw that on one of the
Facebook
posts. One of the Bengals websites.
I didn't know.
The Bengals fan page said, "Well, the good news is we don't have to go meet Biden."
Oh.
So that was true. That was
that is great news. That is great news.
But
that is great news.
Fans out there, Cincinnati, I know you're not listening to me because, it's on. But when I post stuff on Facebook, because I go after them, there's one idiot that thinks that the Bengals need to get rid of Joe Burrow because they're just going to get him killed. And
what's his name? We should have called him out.
Yeah.
We should have called him out.
But he and now he's getting ripped by Bengal fans because I simply put it this way. Guys, we are $60 million under the salary cap.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't fix the offensive line problem with that, then yes, okay, maybe Joe Burrow is in trouble. However, they met with Joe Burrow on player decisions.
Yep.
Joe Burrow wanted them to draft Jamar Chase, which turned out to be a pretty good idea. They have met with him. They never did this with Carson Palmer. They never did this with Boomer. They're meeting with Joe Burrow. What do you need? What do we need? Mm-hmm. So they will get the offensive line fixed.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to picture this team with the offensive line fixed.
I do too, but I still think you need some defensive help too.
Well,
I think you need some.
We need a couple extra defensive linemen. Ogunjobi getting hurt and going out, that killed us.
Yeah,
That absolutely killed us.
Killed it.
The run defense, though, stepped up during the Super Bowl. Stepped up. And
Cam Akers couldn't go anywhere.
And
couldn't go anywhere.
Reeder's been doing it all year. He's been doing this all year long. But B.J. Hill stepped up. Wren stepped up.
You got to dump Eli.
Selvin stepped up. Eli Apple's probably we signed him for a 1-year deal, so they're probably not signing him back. The one we got to get's Jesse Bates. We need another
franchise him, won't they?
If they don't sign him to long term, they'll franchise him. They need another cornerback. Trey Wayans really let us down. Hilton was a great addition. Owezie, absolutely phenomenal. Hendrickson was the free agent signing of the year in the NFL. So we're there. Sure. We've got the. I'm a little worried about our linebackers, especially when we go a 4-2-5.
Yeah.
So
I know,
but a lot of teams are doing that now. So they're going with the 4-2-5. But I'm encouraged what brings next year. Now it doesn't mean we're automatically going to go back. Okay, it doesn't, because next year we actually play the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. So we have a first place schedule next year.
Yep, you sure do.
But we had one of the top 10 toughest schedules this year with a last place schedule.
You did.
So because of the division we're in, you know this.
Yep.
We're in one of the toughest divisions every year in football.
Every year. Which I think helps prepare for those type of games.
Yes, it does. Well, I think it did.
Listen, it was a great game. They were winning up to the last minute and a half. I mean, they were winning this game. I
told my wife and kids, I said, when the Rams got the ball with 4 or 5 minutes to go, I said, this is reminding me so much of that 88 Super Bowl with Montana. They're going to get a touchdown at the end. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. Now, we had a chance at the end.
Yeah.
And
very much so.
It was a very well played game. I thought there was great. There were some good offensive plays. There was some good defensive plays. Why you leave Cooper Kupp 1-on-1 with Eli Apple, I will never understand this.
I'm baffled why you leave. I'm baffled why you leave Cooper Kupp 1-on-1 with anybody after Beckham went down.
Yeah,
so
he was 1-on-1 with him that whole time. Nope, guys, you triple team the guy.
Oh, my God.
You're running with 6 defensive backs anyway. Triple team him.
Triple team him.
And, it cost him. But we weren't supposed to be there. The Bengals felt they were, and they did it, and they played well. And I am not ashamed at all. As a matter of fact, my family is kind of surprised of my relaxed tone that I was in.
Yeah,
my son, on the other hand, he was mad. But passion, and I love
that's my boy.
As a parent, passion, right? You want that passion. You want that because we're hungry. We want that again. We want, and so I'm not saying anything here, but and I won't go elaborate any further. But did your son have to go to work after the game? No.
Good.
He was off. Yeah. Oh my God. He probably that might not have turned well for the first person he pulled over. But no, it's look, it was a great experience. I loved it.
It was.
Seeing it. 100. It had a lot more people watched it than last year.
Yeah, I think that's because 90% of the nation was Bengals fans for that game.
Yeah, and just stop. People stop with the NFL wanted Los Angeles to win because Kroenke. Just stop.
I don't believe that.
It's too big.
I don't believe that.
It's too big of a stage to let that happen. It was just some bad calls at the end. But if we would have done our jobs, never would have happened. So
never would have happened. And by the way, it was 8 sacks. So
it did end up being 8. Okay,
he had 12 going into that game, and 20 is the final number.
Okay, see,
I'm not a mathematician.
No, but I saw 19. That's why, because I initially said 8 at the beginning. Yeah. I thought it was 8 as well, but then I saw 19. So
fact check me. We'll look
whatever.
It up. But can we? No. So on other news with that game, can we stop having halftime shows by any chance? I mean, can we? There are people like, oh, it was so good, man. We got to see Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. I don't hate Dr. Dre. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm a hater of his. It was a disaster again. They're a disaster. There hasn't been a good one since
Bruno Mars, I think.
Yeah, and then before that, Prince. Right?
Yeah, Prince was very
You know
good.
what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of U2.
I hate
halftime
U2.
show. You probably loved Katy Perry's because you probably sat there
absolutely loved Katy Perry.
With your drawers to your ankles
shirt,
during the whole
Katy
show.
Perry shirt and all that stuff.
You probably had your underpants down. But anyways, Katy. So during that halftime show, but yeah, can we just stop with the fanfare and the bullshit and for God's sakes, if it was the Browns in the Super Bowl, I would love a 12-hour pregame show. But before that, enough already.
It was
Jesus
too much for
Christ.
me. It really was. I didn't watch a lot of it because most of it was about the Rams.
No, there was a lot of Bengals stuff.
I know, but every time had to go back to it.
But I think we found out like all of their wiener sizes. I mean, how much more in depth can we get here with these? I mean,
long.
It's like
it's too long.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Anyways, start the game at 4.
I agree with that too. I agree with that too because it would have been 1:00 right out in L.A. That would have been fine, and it would have got some of afterwards something else that we don't have to report on, but the riots afterwards from what they called I can't remember now, but it was some term. Not that they were rioting because their team won, but they were like something celebrators, like over celebrators, as they're destroying cop cars and turning over and burning shit down.
When you destroy property, it's rioting.
It's rioting. It's rioting. I guess BLM and Antifa were just over celebrating. Yeah,
that's right.
Best. Just over celebrating.
Grab the brick.
Yeah. Anyway, so that to me, I think that's probably, I don't really have much more to add about the Super Bowl. So it just is what it is.
Offensive line, I said going in. That's the thing that scares me the most, and it did.
I know.
Scared living hell out of me, and look what happened. So
and the Rams knew that. The Rams knew the offensive line was their weakness. So, but anyways, that kind of leads right in because I don't have anything else in sports. A baseball lockout still going on. I heard a couple weeks it might be over. I don't know. That could be true. That could not be true. I don't know.
Baseball will start on time. We'll have a shortened. It's going to start on time. We're going to have a shortened spring training.
That's right.
Universal DH.
Are they? Is that what they're going to do?
It looks like it's going to be that way. And from a tradition baseball guy, I don't like it, but. From a Cincinnati Reds fan, I like it because now we know what to do with Moustakas and some of these other players.
I know. That's true. So, that's true.
I would actually, Eugenio Suarez, I'd DH him and put Moustakas at third. But
me personally, I would have rather seen it the other way. Pitcher's bat in both leagues.
But no, I like that. But that's what because it's more strategy.
It's more strategy. That's right.
Less strikeouts.
It's more gameplay. Correct. So, but yeah, it's strategy. And not only that, but I mean, I think the reason they're not doing it obviously is because now you can pay, somebody, $11 million a year to bat 4 times a game. And, so it extends the careers. So now anybody like, you name it, anybody who was typically going to be somebody who's a little bit too old to play the field, but can still bat now has the option to go to the National League as well. Yeah. So,
you'll extend like a Joey Votto.
Yeah.
His career will be extended because eventually he'll leave first base and become a DH.
And his contract will be extended. And so it's all money.
I really don't think it will. His is coming up, and I just don't.
You don't think they're going to now that DH?
They're trying to get rid of salaries, Dale. Yeah, if it wasn't for the lockout, the good thing about the lockout for the Cincinnati Reds is they can't trade Castillo and Gray.
I know.
It's like why I can't rebuild again. Stop it.
They want to. I know. Stop. Stop. Hey, listen. Your team just went to the Super Bowl in Cincinnati. Enough of this shit. I'm struggling in Cleveland. We don't do shit.
We have the Guardians now.
Shut up. Shut your mouth. Shut your filthy, dirty mouth.
Because I was playing Cowboys and Guardians the other day. It was really
cool. That's right. Fuck you.
I will always call them Indians. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're always going to be the Indians.
Just like Washington Redskins.
That's right.
Don't care.
The Betsies, Jim.
Washington Commanders. That's stupid. Admirals would have been better.
Red Wolves. Super cool name. The logos could have been amazing.
Or Apache Killers. I mean, come on.
Mohican Murderers.
Lord, I
Mohican
apologize. Lord, I apologize. Okay, so I guess that leads into our top 5, right? Because we got a lot of top 5s to read.
Top 5 sports movies. Yes.
So are we going to do ours first and then read our fellow friends and listeners and all of that stuff then after that?
Yes.
So is it my turn to go first or your time to go first?
Go first. I don't know.
All right. So again, as Dale said, this was a pain in the ass. It was this was to me the hardest.
Harder. It was for me too.
And had a couple people also comment on Facebook that it was hard to come up with.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5.
Top 5 sports movies.
Yep.
There we go.
2006 movie. On Vulture, it was rated number 36. IMDb 34. Rotten Tomatoes, it was 120 out of 150. Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby.
God. See? So this is what made this so hard for me. That is like one of my favorite movies ever.
I love it.
It's so funny.
Every morning I wake up, I piss excellence. I mean, that's my favorite saying right there.
I have 0 sports comedies in my top 5. I have some honorable mentions that are, but I kind of went a different direction just with it. Too. But yeah, great movie.
Great
Jim.
movie.
Great movie.
Number 4,
Rick and Bobby.
1988 movie.
1988.
Ranked number 32 by Vulture, number 27 by Men's Health magazine. Rotten Tomatoes, number 69. 8 Men Out. And it was a story of the Black Sox in 1990 World Series. Yep. The Reds won the World Series that year.
Oh, God.
It's hanging right up there on my wall. So, God. But 8 Men Out was a great movie, a great story about how, I don't know how factual it was, but it was it was based on the story of the Black Sox that basically gave away the game, gave away the World Series because Comiskey was a cheap ass.
That's right.
But great movie if you get a chance to. Yep. This next movie, I could not believe it was not in. I had to go out to this this site called Best Sports Movies. That's what it was. Best Sports Movies is what this site was.
To see a ranking?
And it was number 5. It was not ranked anywhere else. In 1971, Brian's Song.
Oh, great movie.
I want somebody to watch that movie and not cry.
I mean, man, I want the strongest man out there to watch that movie and not shed a tear.
Billy D. Williams was Gale Sayers. James Caan was Brian Piccolo.
Brian Piccolo.
It was during the black and the white. You know, it was during all that stuff. And here's this black and white football player. They became best friends.
Yep.
Piccolo developed cancer. And the story is just one of my favorite
itself.
Ones. I think they remade it, but 1971, the original.
No. Well, watch the original. Yeah. It's the best.
It's story. Amazing. I read the book too, and it's just awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
Good one. Now, my number 2, 1989, was number 13, Vulture, 14, Health Magazine, 60, Rotten Tomatoes. All of these are way too low for this one.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
Yep.
Now, most people who know me are thinking, that's not your number 1. It could have been. Yeah. But Field of Dreams, we don't need to go. I mean, it was the story. I mean, who didn't
Kevin
cry
Costner,
at the end?
Who didn't? Yep, I know.
If you build it, he will come. We're all thinking it's Shoeless Joe Jackson, and it wasn't.
Yep,
it was his daddy. And, oh, God. It was.
Yep.
I hope I didn't ruin it for anybody. I haven't seen it yet.
It's been out since '89.
Great movie. A great baseball movie. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Great baseball movie. Yep.
And my number 1 was number 1 in Rotten Tomatoes, top 150. Number 18 according to Vulture. Wow. 37 according to IMDb.
I know what it is.
Number 9, Men's Health. The greatest one-time event of any sports history was Miracle.
You're ruining my top 5, asshole.
The 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. Everybody knows where they were at when they heard that. And it was that movie was, and then you saw.
Oh my God.
And then at the end, I don't know if you ever watched the end when it went through the.
Are you talking to me?
Anybody out there?
Oh, okay.
And when you saw where it said Herb Brooks died during the shooting of this movie, he didn't get to see the movie, but he lived it.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God.
Oh,
that was just phenomenal. Just that's my top 5.
That's a great top 5.
And now listen
Do
to my
not get me
honorable
wrong.
mentions, though.
Oh, I know.
Slapshot.
Oh, great.
Major League.
Paul Newman. Major League.
Dodgeball. Happy Gilmore. Caddyshack. Hoosiers. Friday Night Lights, and 42.
My God.
42 was so close. And
so
I
close,
just saw that recently.
So you're probably going to get mad at me a little.
But
no,
great.
Because I didn't allow this for you. That was a great list. That is an amazing list of movies.
Pretty good because you usually insult my list.
No. I knew this. I kind of knew.
Yeah.
I knew this one. I mean, you kind of effed up mine a little bit because of some of yours.
You asked
but
me
I
to
knew
go
that
first.
I know. I should have went first. F you. But it's a great list. I'm just telling you. I'm going to give you my honorable mentions first. Okay. Rocky.
Okay.
Cinderella Man. If you haven't seen that movie.
I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore, and Remember the Titans.
Awesome movie, right?
Those are my honorable mentions.
Yep. Solid list right there.
I know. I have a top 5, but I cheated again because I got a tie for 5th.
Oh, so you I see.
Which gives me a top 6,
Maybe
but it's really
top 10.
Oh my God, on this one, I know. I never said you couldn't do ties, Jim.
Yeah, that's true.
So my top 5 go as follows. Number 5, Moneyball.
Okay.
I love that movie. Yep. That story is so good.
Billy Bean and
Yep, with the A's and all that. And that is tied for me with a 2006 movie called We Are Marshall.
Great movie. Yep.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's about the Marshall University, West Virginia, 1970 plane crash and them rebuilding their football program. Matthew McConaughey's in it. Matthew Fox, I think, is also in it. Yes, I think that's true. Great cast, great movie. Just, boy, if that don't touch your heart either, I mean, you're dead. Phenomenal. You're dead itself. So that's my tie for top 5. Number 4, you mentioned Friday Night Lights. It was one of your honorable mentions.
Great.
Great Billy Bob Thornton. It was 2004. Was ranked number 18 on IMDb. I only went IMDb. I didn't go any further than that, but ranked number 18 on there. My number 3 is your number 1, Miracle.
Yeah. Great movie.
So just the 1980 U.S. hockey, they were amateurs. It's not like now where it's, they're all professionals and they're all playing for their
this
different.
Year's hockey teams all college players. They didn't send pros over.
They didn't send pros over this
year?
year?
And all that stuff. Yep.
Oh, that's right.
And they're doing quite well.
Well, they lost to Slovakia last
night. They did?
In a shootout.
They're out then.
How are they out?
That was the quarterfinals. They're out.
They play Canada today.
Are you sure that's not the women?
No, I'm pretty sure, dude.
They said a quarterfinals if they lost, unless it's like the 6th or 7th place game.
No, I mean, they hadn't lost the game yet.
Pool play's done.
Yeah, Olympics men hockey quarterfinal. They lost.
They're out?
Yep.
Never mind. Well, the 80 team did well.
They did well. Anyways, my number 2, Hoosiers.
Yes.
Which is weird for me because it's a basketball movie. But if you haven't seen that movie, I know it's even worse. But no, it's just an amazing. It was ranked number 1 on IMDb.
Yes, great story.
By the way,
great
story. My number 1, Field of Dreams.
Yep.
So we don't have to. I really have nothing to say about any of this because you damn near just screwed my whole list up.
You had me go first.
I know. Next week I go first with top 5 hated bands, and like I said, they're going to be top 5 loved.
At least
bands.
have some on there that you heard. All right. It's not fair to put Restless Heart in there when you've never heard them. All right.
I just hate them. I hate them already. Anyway, so that's, and I gave you my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I forgot one. $1 Million Baby was also.
That's on. It's on some of these.
That's a great movie. Yeah. That's a great underrated Clint Eastwood produced great movie. But yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to read my friend and families and listeners, and because they listen. Melanie gives us. I hope I'm doing this in the right order. Number 5 was Remember the Titans. Mm-hmm. Number 4, The Replacements, which was a very good movie. I liked it.
Great movie.
Number 3 was 42.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 2 was Facing the Giants. And number 1, they're Notre Dame fans. So Rudy.
Their
number 1.
I knew that was coming.
So
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So Teresa had number 5, Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Number 4, Friday Night Lights. Number 3, Karate Kid. Number 2, Brian's Song.
Yeah.
And number 1, Remember the Titans.
Nice.
Nice. I'm going to read one more, and then I'll let you read 3 of yours.
All right.
Michelle sent us number 5, Rudy. Number I don't like that movie at all.
I got to be honest with you. I just wasn't a big fan of the movie. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with Notre Dame. I just didn't think it was.
All I know is I didn't see Ice Castles on here, which was very good. I'm glad I did not see that because that was a stink fest. Anyway, number 4 was Any Given Sunday.
Oh, good one.
3 was Hoosiers.
Yeah.
2 was Brian's Song.
Yep.
And number 1 was Remember the Titans.
Yep.
Kind of ironically, Teresa and Michelle's final 2 were the same, which is kind of funny in itself.
That is kind of weird.
All right, your next.
That is kind of weird. So, so we had a lot of good feedback. I had a lot of people just give me one of their favorites. Mm-hmm. I had some give me all 5. I'll read. So Sherry, you don't know Sherry.
Nope.
The Sherry, but Sherry said The Sandlot, Major League, Longest Yard, Hoosier, and Rollerball. That is an odd list, but such a good list. Rollerball. I mean, it is so cool.
Good movies.
Of course, great movies. Of course, she had stuff on there also like Blindside and Facing the Giants, and she also loved Cool Running, which is kind of interesting.
John Candy, God rest his soul.
Yeah. Darren sent Moneyball, For the Love of the Game, The Rookie, and The Sandlot. He only gave me 4.
For the Love of the Game was solid.
Solid one. So thank you, Darren, for that. I could go on and on and on, but I'll give you some that just gave me 1. I got 1 Rudy. I'm not even Chris. Thank you for supplying that, but you're wrong. I'm trying to look at some that we hadn't mentioned yet. Her name's Tissa. She sent The Blind Side and The Game Plan as the 2 of her.
Game Plan was a cute movie. I liked it.
Yeah, The Blind Side was a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
So that, I mean, I have many, many more, and I want to get through them all. And everybody sent them. Margie, A League of Their Own. So I got that one from somebody, which was a great movie. If you got more, you want to say it. Say it.
David sent number 5, Rudy. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Number 4, Field of Dreams. 3, Rocky. 2, Sandlot.
Yeah.
Number 1 was Bull Durham. I hadn't heard that one.
Bull Durham's great.
Go
on.
That's good. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like I could have put Tin Cup in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just like For the Love of Game. I mean, on any of these, I could have put in there. So go on.
Well, Jeremy, number 5, Caddyshack. Love it. Here's the one. Number 4 was Invincible. That was a pretty good movie.
It's a pretty good movie.
Number 3, Dodgeball.
Mark.
If you could dodge a ball, or if you dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. Anyway.
Yep.
Number 2, Sandlot. And number 1, Rudy. What the hell is up with Rudy?
It's Rudy. I don't know either. I don't know. And I'm going to give you one while we're all looking and all that. But Bob sent in, and he only sent in one, and he sent in Invictus. So
I've seen that a couple times. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, it's a good movie. Of course, if you know the story, but about Nelson Mandela and all that. But I mean, it was directed by Clint Eastwood. He gives a whole bio on it. It's really great. But Thank you for sending that in. I got some Brian songs, but go on. I mean, that's about all I can really go on here. But.
Joe sent in, and he said we can use his name, so that's perfect. He gave his honorable mentions were Moneyball, Bad News Bears. That was a new one. That wasn't Slapshot. Remember the Titans. North Dallas 40.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That was a,
forgot about that movie.
Yeah, and Hoosiers. Number 5, Rudy. 4, Bull Durham, where he says best baseball movie ever. I think Field of Dreams is my favorite, but hey, to each their own. Yeah. And number 3, Breaking Away.
Oh my God!
If you're not familiar, it's about the Indiana Little 500, and it was
that's right.
A really good movie, actually.
Yeah.
Number 2 is A League of Their Own. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he goes into a lot of detail on this stuff, but because he has who starred in it, what they did, how and stuff.
Thank you for doing.
And number one, Without Limits.
What?
It was the Steve Prefontaine story. I believe he was a runner.
Yep. And so Nike sponsored him. I mean, he was from Oregon. I think the University of Oregon.
That's what it was.
If I'm not, I remember now. I remember.
Do you want to read some? Because I got more.
Joe
just gave me one. Joe just gave me one. The replacements. Adam, Cool Runnings, The Rookie, which is a new one. Field of Dreams, League of Their Own. Remember the Titans. James. Rudy, 46. I think he meant 42. But
I think so because
the program, which was a very good movie.
Yeah,
the Hurricane with Denzel Washington. Yeah, and The Fighter. Those were completely different. Yeah,
Fighter was
different
great.
List. And then
that was
Chris,
a different list. I like it.
Chris, of course, Trouble with the Curve.
Mm-hmm.
Tin Cup. Field of Dreams.
Yep.
The Blind Side. And freaking number 1, Rudy.
I knew Chris would. Did we not know Chris would say Rudy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even a
Give
surprise.
It up, Notre Dame. It wasn't a good movie.
Oddly enough, I had 2 Susans that had Rudy as their number 1. I don't know if that has anything to do with the name, but 2 different Susans say Rudy. Rudy's on mine a lot. Like a lot of my.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Maybe I'll have to rewatch it. I watched it years ago. I didn't like it. I know you won't. And
sorry,
let's
listeners.
see who else. There's one I do want to mention though, just because I want to mention her name, and that is Sonari. That's her name. Who mentioned Wildcats as hers?
Was that the goalie Han?
Yes.
Good movie. That was solid. Yeah. Our listeners are pretty smart. Except for Rudy. I don't understand it. Don't get it.
I don't want to. I'm not going to.
I still love all of you.
It's their choice.
I still love all of you.
Choice. So. It's their choice. But yeah, I don't want to.
But these are some of the same people that made fun of my top 5 bands. So.
Well, because how could you not? If anybody heard it, again, it wasn't episode number 1, by the way. I'll let you know. I can't remember. But listen to his top 5 bands. You'll be like, what? I'd rather watch Rudy on rerun than maybe even listen to some of your top 5 bands ever.
I don't think so.
Next week, again, what is the top 5?
Least 5 favorite bands.
Like almost your most hate, like you just cringe.
Yes, and
not solo artists, Jim.
No, I've got bands.
No,
and it's not a boy band bands. It's I'm going to do a band. Okay, it's a band
because there's not a boy band you hate.
And you would have heard of everyone on my list.
Really?
And there are 2, one in particular, but there are 2 that I'm probably going to get death threats.
Wow! Next week I go first, so I can't wait to hear yours. All right, I might get death threats on 1 or 2 of mine.
I think one of ours is going to be this.
Going to be the same. That's right. Anyway, so again, we'll post on Facebook.
Send us your top. Yep.
And if you're listening and we post it on there, we also have our group page, which is 2 Guys, 1 Coup, not just our personal stuff, but 2 Guys, 1 Coup. We'll ask it on there too. And then hop over, join,
join the site.
Join the site.
Tell you what you think.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
It's like I'll go out to Facebook today and I'll Send it to everybody who gave us top 5. Thank you, and listen.
Yeah.
Saturday when it's released, and you can hear your list being named. We do not say last names.
We do.
If
you want us to, I would.
Yeah,
but there's no reason to.
First names we'll give.
Yep.
But we'll do the same thing. Send out
and like I said, we mentioned last week also before we get into other things, but we mentioned about having guests on. I've had some people hit me up on Facebook to say they would like to be. So I swear to God, we are going to do this, but I literally got to get through these recording quality issues things first. I don't want to waste somebody's time if I'm not, if I. Literally that's time spent. We have to edit these things. And why are we editing them? Because you have to, because of some of the crap we're getting on our recordings. Anyways.
And plus, when you listen to it, you don't see, but if you watch us, you'll see some of what the lag, what Dale was talking about.
Correct. It's terrible.
Listen to us.
Yep. Please. And then if you want to see good looking guys, watch us.
Yeah. Awesome.
Am I wrong?
We're beautiful.
Am I wrong?
Hey, yeah.
Anyways, that's the top 5. Thank you, everyone who contributed. That was awesome.
That was
feedback.
Fun. That was the most feedback
fun.
we had. So
next week is going to be top 5 hated bands. I feel we're going to get some good feedback on that one too. That's a good one. That's a good one.
And I guarantee you, there's
going to be some
controversy. They're going to put pretty much anything Jim likes. I think is what it's going
to be. Whatever he says, I hate.
Yeah,
that's probably true. So, it's terrible. Your taste in music's horrible. But anyways. Anyways, almost like your taste in clothes, which today you look like you're wearing like one of the tracksuits for the men's bobsledding team. I don't know if you watched the Olympics at all, because why would you?
I didn't.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I've been trying to keep track of that. That leads into my Schumer of the week or AOCs of the week, actually, if you want me to get right into that.
Go for it.
So my AOC of the week is, I say the Olympic Committee, okay? But it's not just them, and I'm just going to get right into it. Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva, I think that's how you say her name, Kamila Valieva, will be allowed to continue competing at the Winter Olympics despite failing a drug test.
She from Russia?
Yes, matter of fact, she is, Jim. But not just the USSR or Russia, but the newly formed Russia Olympic Committee is how they go by, the ROC.
ROC, right.
Yeah, because why did they have to do that? Because they got caught doping 2 years ago and they were banned from the Olympics. So they just create some new name.
Right.
It's kind of like taking global warming and changing it to climate change. Same shit, different words.
It's like the Chinese hockey team. Pretty much all Americans on it. But I digress.
I hope they live over there. Do they live over there? Those Americans?
I believe they just
they damn well should have to.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the Court of Arbitration for Sport ruled on Monday. That's really who my AOC is the Court of Arbitration. I don't know who these people are. I don't know where they reside from. But they said, on the basis of the very limited facts of this case and after consideration of the relevant legal issues, the court, these assholes, have determined that no provisional suspension should be imposed on the athlete. Denying her a chance to compete would cause her irreparable harm, the court said. Harm. So it was revealed, this is what she got caught with, okay? It was revealed on this past Friday that 15-year-old, she's 15, figure skater, tested positive for a banned drug in December, ahead of the Russian figure skating championships. She tested positive for, I'm going to say this drug name, but then I'll tell you what it is, trimetazidine. Trimetazidine? Am I saying that right? Medical people listening out there? You probably do. I'll tell you why. It's a heart medication. It's a heart medication. And it was tested at the World Anti-Doping Agency accredited lab. And according to the International Testing Agency, the drug is classified by this lab, World Anti-Doping Agency, as a hormone and metabolic modulator. What does that mean? So basically, what this substance does is it allows better blood flow, better stamina, better. So it's an enhancer for a 15-year-old that does not have a heart issue.
Right.
Okay.
But could eventually.
For some, well, who they don't care in Russia. They just feed her whatever the fuck and let her go out and win a gold. You know, that's all they care about. Because she is a minor and the case was not under the jurisdiction of the International Olympic Committee, the ITA did not reveal the banned substance was found in her blood when it was notified. So, here, we have a cardiologist from Northwest Medicine said that the drug was originally developed to increase the efficiency of the heart and allow better blood flow to the organ so that patients with heart disease can get relief from symptoms. If it is being used in someone who's healthy and has no blockages, it's theoretically possible that it may help them exercise for longer or more efficiently, which specifically in an athlete's case, may give them a false advantage. She said, the 15-year-old, here's what she said. Besides, I am not guilty. She said, that's probably what her voice sounds like, that she inadvertently ingested the drug while taking a sip of water from her grandfather's drinking glass. That's like the equivalent of getting pregnant sitting on the toilet, is it not? I mean, she inadvertently got it from Grandpappy's drinking glass. Are you shitting me? Anyways, so that is so who does this piss off more than anybody? Are you familiar? I'm sorry, this might be going on too long, but are you familiar with Sha'Carri Richardson? Do you know that name?
Yeah.
You do not.
She got the silver medal.
From when? Oh. Where? Yeah, you don't know. You don't know why. She didn't get any medal. Why? Because she couldn't compete at the Summer Olympics this past, whenever that was, 2 years ago in Tokyo, because she got tested positive for THC. Now, THC is a substance you find in marijuana. Yeah. She wasn't positive.
Just makes you hungry.
Just what does that do? That doesn't enhance your performance at all. And damn, where marijuana is legal almost everywhere.
First of all, I thought they changed that.
They might have now, but it didn't. Then she was not allowed. She said it is not a performance enhancer. THC marijuana is not a
no.
You do less. Have we not learned?
Right.
I think you do a little less. Yeah. You know. Anyway, so she's pissed off at this whole decision. Everybody's pissed off at this entire decision. But she got banned for THC, but Mrs. I got heart meds from Grandpappy's drinking water glass is allowed to compete. And she's favored for the gold, by the way.
I thought she won it already.
She might have by this time we're recording this. I don't follow it. I just know this happened.
At the beginning, I think she won.
No, she won the team. She was part of the team that won the gold. Yes, you are correct. But the individual, she is also favored, which has not occurred yet.
Well,
so
I thought
that's mine.
I thought the THC was changed when the snowboarders and stuff came on board because, I mean, they're in places where it's legal.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. I mean,
Colorado, and I mean, that's where they're at. You know, the ski jumpers, not the jumpers, but does all that.
That's true.
I really did. True. I thought they maybe not. Obviously not, because this person.
Maybe not. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, what is yours? And my bladder's about to explode. In case anybody wants to know. So.
My AOC is AOC.
Oh, again?
Well,
this is their third time, isn't it?
Wait.
Oh.
AOC tied the increase of thefts in New York City to the expiration of the child tax credit that ended at the end of this year.
How is an idiot doing this week in and week out? She's a bumbling idiot. Listen, AOC, jump up and down on a trampoline, shut up, do nothing else. God, she's an idiot.
She just recently made waves when she predicted a Democratic takeover of Texas. That didn't work. Then she She sat down with the New Yorker. The representative said she engaged hospitals, doctors, social workers, and was told that the surge in violence is driven by the young, mainly young men. So you ask anyway, and we allow the discourse to make it sound as though it's like these shady figures in the bush jumping out from the corner. They are. These are young men. These are boys. We're almost not discussing the mental health crisis that we're experiencing as a country as a result of the pandemic, she said.
Jeez, oh
she
God.
pointed out that the tax credit, which was seen as a lifeline to many families, expired on December 31st, and now people are stealing baby formula.
Is that what comes in those big HD TV boxes, baby formula?
And in the jewelry box cases where they're stealing Rolex watches. Yeah.
Rolex watches? Is that what comes in those?
These people are so stupid.
Shit. They are so stupid.
Okay, the monthly tax credits were part of the Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package. Biden has proposed extending them for another full year as part of a separate measure focused on economic and social programs, but Democrat Joe Manchin objected to extending the credits. Thank God for this guy.
Thank you, Joe Manchin. Thank you again.
We don't want to have the discussion. We want to say these people are criminals. They are. Or we want to talk about people who are violent. They are.
They are.
Instead of environments of violence, which she is causing.
They are.
And what we're doing to either contribute, she is, or to dismantle that, she's not. One day the interview was published. An Asian American woman in New York City's Chinatown was stabbed to death by a well-behaved young man because he didn't have money. This is not funny.
He was just over-celebrating.
Stabbed to death inside her apartment after police said she was followed inside by a homeless man.
So wait a second. Do homeless men get the child tax credit? Is that what
you got to have an address? It's not funny. Look, it's not funny. This woman was killed.
It's not funny. She's killed. No.
AOC opens her mouth and stupidity comes out.
Immediately.
It's just
nothing else.
It's like Gordon Lightfoot in Chicago, where she blames the fact that we're doing homeschooling on why the rise in stolen cars are going through the roof because kids are bored. It's like
these people are stupid.
Well, you know what? If we gave them crack pipes and needles like Biden wants to give, that gives them something to do.
Well, as long as they're clean, but they have to either be African American or LGBTQ plus.
But AOC, God bless her heart.
Just God bless her. Once again, the title of that segment fits her. She's a 3-time recipient of the AOC
to do with
of the week.
Democrat policies of lessening the crimes or defunding the police. It's because which she never did expound upon why it was these young men. So the young men weren't getting the money to begin with. Their parents were. So
crazy.
Anyway, but
crazy.
AOC is
funny.
We gotta love AOC. You got.
Oh God,
love her.
The hits keep coming every time she opens her trap. I'm telling you, Jim. Good show. I'm not cutting it short. I think I ran.
Very
just
nice.
a little, very good. Like I said, my bladder's about to explode because my 2-hour bladder is not lasting 2 hours today.
Our listeners need to know that.
Because they need to know that I've got special needs.
You do.
And so next week, again, we're going to do another show. This was great. We're probably going to maybe have a little bit more follow-up on the Durham Report, unless they remove us from YouTube because we're talking about it.
Nope. Then maybe we only get, a week suspension the next time?
Yes, I get a full week where we can't post. And then the next one is bye. Yeah. Could see you later, I think. Or 30 days then bye. I think. I don't know. But we're strike one. We're at strike one. Find us on Rumble too, but you can find us on YouTube and Rumble. Again, please keep engaging on the Facebook. That's great. And we appreciate it. We do have a Gmail, but I'm not even going to mention it.
I think what I'll do.
Let's do. Yeah.
I think what I'll do on the Facebook is I'll go out to our Facebook page, post what we're doing next week, and then share it. And then also put out on my own personal Facebook page that
sure. Why not?
This is what
Spread the word.
Because I love the feedback. I mean, I love it. I mean, you saw how many different movies were out there. And you saw
oh my God,
the one movie
it's endless.
Repeating itself. Let it go, Notre Dame fans.
Let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah. Canceled.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't even know if that story's true. I'm just kidding.
I don't believe it.
Somebody fact check Rudy. Somebody fact check Rudy for me. Anyways, Jim, great show. Thank you again for your hard work on it and the information. We'll continue next week. Again, top 5 will be top 5 most hated bands.
Yep.
Bands, Jim, not boy bands.
Nope.
They got to play instruments.
Every one of them will be an instrument band. Trust me.
Wow. Okay. I'll be shocked if that's true. Anyways, Jim, good show, and we'll see you next week, sir.
Bye.
All right. Bye.